Welcome to episode 4 of the Team Reinvented podcast, baby. Let's go. Episode 4. We're here. We're in a different location this time. We're in like the middle of the state, opposed to all the way on the east side.
Welcome to my humble abode.
Yeah, we're in his place this time, opposed to usually record episodes back at my place, in my sweet living room in my apartment. But Alex has graced us with the location this episode.
Enjoy your stay.
On this special episode, this holiday, and I guess New Year's episode, because I don't think we'll have an episode. No, there's.
Totally sure what our
it's
schedule
not
is.
super hard basic math. There's not 14 days left in the month. But yeah, this will be I'm pretty sure the last episode of the year. So this will be a big 2020 send-off, a big holiday send-off, and we're joined by our...
Woo, 2020!
Yeah, I hate...
Get 2020 out of here,
was
dude.
trash. We have our special guest today, Kaiu24. Say hello.
Hey.
Hello, everybody. How you doing?
And he's a new, I guess, more recent ambassador picked up by the big man Dorian himself. We thought it'd be
Big man himself.
we thought it'd be fun to have him on this episode. He's got a lot of like knowledge and stuff about. You run like a tech YouTube channel and stuff, right? You do some streams and stuff on the side. I've seen that, but like on your channel, you're mainly like tech focused or like reviewing and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, heavily focused on like tech and gaming, kind of streamer help, YouTube help kind of videos, more educational videos, well, kind of aiming towards educational videos to help kind of streamers and new YouTubers get off their feet. But yeah, I'd say at the moment, very heavily tech focused. Definitely. And as you can tell, I'm British. So
yeah, he's
that's a bonus. That's a bonus.
Yeah, that's an extra. But like tech YouTube, that's something I'm interested in, but that's like a costly thing to be a part of too.
Oh yeah, for sure. If you're not sponsored, it will cost you quite a lot. But yeah, like I generally I try and keep costs to a minimum by only reviewing things that I've actually bought for myself, rather than kind of going out and trying to grab things specifically for reviews. So if I bought something and I think it's nice and fancy and I want to review it, then I'll go and review it for the channel, and it's nice extra content for my channel. Otherwise, I kind of focus more around tech tutorials and unboxings of new things that I've bought, or just kind of talking about other things that's more kind of gaming and tech related.
I mean, do you
It's a pretty new channel.
Do you do one of those things where you're in the checkout or you're about to buy something and you're like, it's for the review, but it's like really you're getting it because it's something you want?
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much everything I've bought. That's pretty much everything I've reviewed is pretty much for that reason. Yeah, I say it's for the review, but it's for me.
What's the most crazy? Well, like recently, out of anything you've bought or like to review and stuff, what's one thing that you picked up where after you got it, you're like, maybe this is a flex. Maybe I like didn't really need this.
Oh my gosh. I think I would say it's the Elgato mic that I did a review for a few months back. I really didn't need to get that. Like the mic I was using was a relatively decent cheap condenser mic from Amazon. It was a toner mic actually, and it was doing perfectly fine. But I really wanted the Elgato mic. But I think actually no. I think second to that would be my camera. The camera, my main camera, which is the Canon M50, definitely it was something that I probably could have gone a little bit longer without, but then I just wanted it. I just really wanted it. That was a flex.
Yeah, I've definitely done
just because I could.
I've done like that kind of stuff before. Where even the mic that I'm using. I mean, I'm glad I have this now, but like I was just at the store and I was like, ooh, Yeti Nano, and it's like $20 off. Me buy like my little doo-doo brain with no ridges in it. It's all perfectly smooth. It was just like, yes, $20 off, consume product. So I bought it. But other than that, I'd say my biggest like buyer's remorse recently is I bought, what is it called? Serum, which is a synth plugin for FL Studio, which is like the music software that I use.
Oh,
and
wow,
it's like $200. And it's like, wow, I have like a synth, but I don't know shit about like forming waves or anything. So I mean, I own it now.
I think one of the biggest, I think my biggest flex is this bad boy, my PC here, which I actually got half through a commission for some work that I done for somebody online, and the rest of it was kind of out of pocket. But yeah, that was one thing that I didn't need to build. Like my PC was doing pretty well. It was a very old PC, and there's a whole YouTube series on there actually on my YouTube channel. But it was a very old PC, but I felt like I needed the upgrade. But I don't really think I did. Like my PC was doing fine. It was struggling a bit here and there with certain things, but I would have probably lasted a little longer. But I ended up building a new PC into a whole YouTube series of content, and it just became a thing. And I'm super happy that I got it, and I love this thing. But at the same time, it was very overpriced and unnecessary. I didn't need to spend that much.
I think it's so cool to like work for something and like have your job or like, be able to gain a source of revenue and some source of, monetary value from something that you love to do. And then when you let's say you have a new product that comes out or something like that you genuinely have interest in, because, we were in high school and we had those days where it's like, oh man, yeah, the new gaming PC is out, the new game is out, these things or whatever. Having a job or having, some hobby that you like to do that gains a little bit of revenue or gains a little of exposure on the internet, where you actually do need to go out and buy these things, for video, for views, for these things. I think that's just like the best thing you can do in life. Like to find something, like if I don't know, like people who are like professional, like athletes that like go and play their sport professionally. Like obviously it's crazy when you make the MLB or when you make the NFL, because now all you do is just work on doing the thing that you love. I think for people that are content creators, people that are in this for video games and doing that, just the thought of being a Let's Player and being able to get monetary value or to be able to review different products and to be able to acquire all this hardware because you love it, and also because it gets you, a source of revenue or a source of exposure online. That's crazy to me. That's insane.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I mean, personally, I'm at the point where I haven't reached that point where I'm making revenue out of this. It's still very much a hobby that I'm doing outside of my day job, which is completely unrelated to any of this. But I'm trying to build it to that point, because I wouldn't say I'm getting tired of my day job, but I do want to kind of go into something that earns me money through something I love, which is definitely gaming, tech, PCs, social media, that kind of stuff. Content creation, in essence, what people nowadays call content creation. I got into YouTube 12 years ago, maybe 13 years ago. And if I had carried on doing YouTube stuff back then, I probably would have been in a much better position than now, but life got in the way. So yeah, definitely, it is one of the, being able to kind of do things I love and then showing it off, it is definitely one of the best feelings. Like, you can't do that with your day job.
So you're one of those. You're one of those OG YouTubers. Then I'm trying to think. So that's 2007, 2008.
Yeah, like I started. Yeah, around 2007. I have early YouTube videos from 2007, and none of them feature me myself, but like I did stuff on YouTube.
That's so dope.
Before it was cool. So, but then I stopped, which is one of my biggest regrets in life, I think, is that I stopped making YouTube videos when I should have carried on. And if I did carry on, I don't know, I might have been as big as MKBHD. Who knows? But, it's one of those things that it's never too late to start, though. It's a lot tougher now than it was back then.
It's weird to, like, think about, like, that time period, too, because back then I was, 2008? I was, like, 7. Because I was born in 2001. And it's weird because I was into YouTube at that point too. That's like why I wanted to do YouTube and stuff, because I grew up watching, like, when YouTube was just this like rinky dink platform. I mean, it wasn't like super rinky dink, but it wasn't like as big as it is now. But I mean, I don't know, it's crazy. And like it's weird watching because like all the people I used to watch, like I either don't watch them anymore, or they're just not around anymore because they're doing separate things. But I don't know. It's weird looking back because even recently I was looking about this stuff too, is because that era or like that around that time period was what's considered by most people like the golden age of the internet, because that's when like everything was coming up on the scene, like social media is hitting it big, like YouTube's coming up and it's like making a huge thing, and people are not too far from that time like starting to get paid for making YouTube videos, which at the time, like as a kid, I was like, that's absolutely crazy. Like these people are putting YouTube videos out and they're making like tons of money from it. And I remember watching like PewDiePie when Smosh was still the most subscribed YouTube channel,
Yeah.
and like him overtaking them and how that big of a deal that was. And I mean, it's cool that like, I mean, YouTube's obviously not the same, which kind of sucks and stuff, but like, I'm glad that I had that part in my life of like media having a positive influence on me, and I guess making my goals and stuff based around it, but in a positive light, not one of those like, oh, I'm on Instagram, I gotta get likes and stuff. It's like with the podcast and stuff, like I'll just like hop in front of a camera and I like talking to people and stuff, and it's fun even if people don't watch, to like put myself out there because it's like a passion that I'm about, I guess.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like, I mean, I lived through that quite. I was 15, 16 when I started doing random things for YouTube. I actually started off making AMVs, so anime music videos.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so that was my original kind of YouTube entry, and then I did a little bit of stuff with Particle Illusions, and I started making a few animations here. I've left some of them up on my YouTube channel, so if you guys check it out, you'll see that it's there, and it's like 13 years ago, and that video, it's like a 10-second video or less, and it has like 241,000 views. Wow. And like that's my highest viewed video from 13 years ago, but it means nothing now. So like, but I remember living through that time, and especially in the kind of environment that I grew up in, and well, not the environment, but the kind of the society I grew up in, here in London, and the kind of community that I was around. When people found out, there were two types of people. The small minority of people who found out that, oh, he does stuff on YouTube, and they'd be like, oh, that's really cool. You're doing cool stuff there. And then there's the majority of people who'd be like, huh, you're doing stuff on YouTube, you nerd. And, you'd get that criticism.
Yeah.
And I think that was one of the things that kind of initially put me off and made me stop doing YouTube videos. I mean, I did get busy with studies and stuff like that. But, aside from that, I could have carried on. But it was more of the kind of critique that I'd get from people that made me think, oh, maybe I should stop doing this. But I look back at it now, and I'm a whole different person. So I think now that I should never have listened to that. And it just goes to show how different things are. Because now you tell somebody that, oh, I'm going to be a YouTuber, and they're just like, show me your YouTube page now. Let me go and subscribe to you. That wasn't a thing back then.
Yeah.
Back then, it would be, they'd want to go to your YouTube page so they can watch your videos and poke fun at you. Whereas now it's a whole, being a YouTuber is cool.
Well, now it's like, it's crazy because like if you ask a kid like what they want to be, they'll be like, oh, I want to be a YouTuber. Because like of the such like a big impact it's having on like, I mean, when I was a kid, I remember because I don't know, maybe it's like location wise or like age difference, but like when I was a kid, like YouTube was not super popular, but it was semi-popular, and that's what got me into like making videos and stuff, because I would just record like little goofy skits or whatever on my like white flip camcorder. And then I would bring it to school and I would show my friends and they'd be like, oh, that's so hilarious. And like, that's what motivated me and stuff. But like nowadays it's just, I don't know, it's, I guess like just a viable career option, which I guess is kind of depressing in the sense that it's mostly just like people look at it from a business aspect now, instead of back then it was just like raw creativity. It's just, I'm going to put myself out there. I'm not expecting money. I just think it's funny and I want other people to see it. But I don't know, it's crazy how that went now, that like kids, because that's legitimately like the majority of kids now. I feel that if you were to ask them what they want to be, they'd say like a YouTuber or a streamer. They want to be like David Dobrik or something and doing like little vlog stuff with their friends. But
yeah, it is. It's it's just everywhere now. Like I do a little bit of private tuition on the side. So I've got a lot of kids that I teach, just kind of school stuff too. And sorry if you guys are hearing screaming. That's my son in the background, absolutely screaming the house down. Yeah, so I've got like a lot of kids who just, they're trying to do stuff on YouTube, and they come and ask me like, oh, you do YouTube stuff, what can I do, like how can I improve? But also I just like, you don't need to improve, just keep doing what you're doing, and then eventually you'll learn how to kind of do these things. You're still young, you don't need to become a famous YouTuber straight off the bat, and nobody can do it overnight. He's like, oh, I'm stuck at 50 subscribers. I was like, you got 50 subscribers? That's 50 more than I had at your age, so keep it up. And just the mindset of the whole, I want to become a YouTuber thing, and how much that's changed just goes to show how fast the world has also changed. It's like, it's crazy to think about, like, we were at an age back then where, YouTube was purely about creativity, and you just put yourself out there, and what mattered was the views that you got. Like, that's so, like, my video has more views than your video, or I've got more subscribers than you by 5 or 10. Right now, it's the race to get into the millions, and it's the race to make the money, and it does kind of take the fun out of it for a lot of people. Like, people are getting into it just because they want to make the money, not because they want to share their content or because they want to share their creativity. I'm not talking for the majority. There are a lot of very good creative YouTubers and a lot of very good content out there, millions and millions of videos being uploaded every single day. And a lot of it is great content. But then again, there is a lot that people just want to make money, because that's what society is now saying, is that YouTube is one way to make money, and that gets reflected in the way that YouTube have changed the policies and stuff in terms of monetization, how easy it is to get monetized. Before, you could get monetized for anything. You had an AdSense account, you make a video, you sign up with your AdSense, and you're there. You're already making money as soon as you put videos out there. Your ads are showing on your videos. Right now, you got to get that 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time in the past year to even start making money, and then it's just an uphill struggle from there onwards as well. So, it just kind of, the way things have moved forward is reflected by how YouTube has grown and now has changed their policies and stuff. And as sad as that is to see, it doesn't prevent the more creative out of us stop making videos. So those who still want to make videos for their creativity, carry on. And when they get to that point that they can get monetized, it's just an added bonus.
Yeah, if I could give any advice to like people, I guess, younger than me and stuff that are like want to be like YouTubers and stuff, or aspiring to do that kind of stuff, from someone who remembers like that time period of YouTube before like the way it is now, if I can give any advice, it's like, make what you want to make and be who you want to be, and just have fun with it online. Like, there's, if you make it big because you're doing whatever the big topic is, or doing whatever the latest trend is, and you don't care about it, then you're gonna spend like your time, because YouTube is a media or a medium for like creative projects and stuff, and like art and like acting or music or whatever you want to do. So if you fill your creative medium with stuff that you know is going to get popular, but you don't like, you're making a career off of something that you hate, or that you don't enjoy, and it's just it's going to be more work than you could ever ask for or you could ever want. So yeah. If anything, I just recommend, if you're dedicated to being like a personality somewhere on the internet, make sure you're just being yourself is all. What else?
Originality. Yeah, originality is very important. You gotta have that originality. Just be who you want to be. Do what you want to do. Doesn't matter what anybody else says. If it's your content, you can make that content however you want to make it. As long as it's not, as long as you're not being offensive to anybody out there, and your content is genuine and good and enjoyable, it doesn't really matter. You do what you want to do. You'll always have an audience. There's an audience for everything.
I gotta say, I'm a huge fan of like going to channels and like even looking at friends' social media accounts and things like that and seeing where people were like 10 years ago and things like that. So I honestly think it's super cool that, you know, you've had a channel for like 13 years and you have your videos still up from those 13 years because, you know, you've seen those occasional videos of like the people who are here now and then their videos like, you know, 7 or 8 years ago when they were recording on their flip phones or something like that and doing things like that. I'm one of those people that like I have to keep everything up on my social media, or I have to keep everything up in my YouTube channel that I've made in middle school and high school, things like that. Just because, well, I mean, obviously there's the fact that it's super cringe and everybody will think that, oh my gosh, Alex, what were you doing in this video kind of thing. But also like there's just some sort of innocence that you can like see from people, you know, back in those times. And, you know, especially when YouTube, you know, wasn't this, you know, big corporate, you know, prospect for a lot of people. I mean, it was just, you know, a lot of kids that were, you know, had their first iPod and the YouTube app was on the iPod. So they were like, oh man, I see these YouTube videos. I'm going to start making these little funny videos. And it's just fun to see people have that on their channel still and reflect back on, oh man, these were the times that the people didn't have the biggest cameras, didn't have all this stuff, but everybody was still having a
It's
fun
weird
time.
to think of like the term cringe. I mean, people like overuse the term now, but it's weird to think like now that you looking back at it, you're like, oh, that's cringe. But like if you put yourself in the shoes of you at that time, like when you were recording that and uploading it and stuff, like that's what was like for your like age group and on the platform and stuff, like that was what was funny at the time.
Yeah.
Exactly. And you know, I think genuinely one of the biggest regrets I have, apart from carrying on doing YouTube videos from back then, is there was a particular YouTube video that I made, and it was, have you guys ever watched Bleach, the anime?
I watched a little bit of it. I remember watching a little bit of it because it would be on Adult Swim at nighttime.
Yeah, so I think, you know, one of the biggest, like, if for any anime fans out there who have watched Bleach, one of the biggest, most iconic, like, lines or phrases next to turning Super Saiyan in Dragon Ball Z would be the Bankai. Like, in Bleach, when a character goes Bankai and their whole outfit changes and, you know, they get this whole cool new sword or weapon, and then they use that to fight and they get this massive power-up. That, at the time, was, like, one of the coolest things out there. For me, especially, like, being a massive anime fan. You know, Bankai was like the thing at the time. And I made this video where I started off, and I had these samurai swords. I had this tiny samurai sword, which was like a little, a very small one. And then I had like a long katana size sword as well. And these were real swords, by the way. I had like as a 15, 16-year-old, because they were illegal to own back then in the UK. And I had this video where I was just wearing a normal outfit and I had this sword, and I basically did a video of me going Bankai and there's lightning everywhere, and then my outfit changes and I'm wearing this karate gi with this long ass sword which has electricity coming out of it. And it was one of the most, like, looking back at it, like, now that you mentioned cringe, it probably would be one of the most cringe videos that I've ever made in my life. But at the time I thought I was doing something super cool because I was doing the whole transformation thing, going Bankai, and I recorded myself doing this. And I removed that video from YouTube because I went back to it a few years later and I saw that it was super cringe. And I deleted it from YouTube for some reason. I don't know what I was thinking. And it's not there anymore, and I can't find the original footage. And that's probably one of my biggest regrets. And I would say to any content creator, any YouTuber out there, just like Alex said, don't delete your old videos, because no matter how cringe you might think it is, when you go back to it, that's a memory. That's a very precious memory of a time where you were innocent and a time where you enjoyed doing what you were doing and you didn't care about what anybody else was thinking. And you got to remember yourself like that, because it's very important that you hold on to things like that. You know, especially in the kind of day and age where right now money and fame is everything. You know, you want to remember a time where it's much more innocent, things were a lot simpler, you just did what you want to do, and you made the kind of videos you want to make, and that was it. You know, you had fun doing it.
I just want to think of a time like 30, 40 years down the line or something when we're like pretty old adults, you know. And then I'm assuming obviously there's gonna be flying cars and everything like that, and all the crazy tech that you know one can imagine. Like I imagine people who are like you that are getting it, you know, working on these tech, you know, type YouTube channels. I you know, people say that this is the golden age of tech, but like, man, think of the possibilities. There's so much of a future for that. But I'm just imagining us as like 50-year-olds sitting and then seeing like holograms of shit, and then we get to tell people back in the day of like, oh, this is when we were in, you know, these primary schools where we just fuck shit up with a camera and just went around on our feet, because people, especially in the future, don't go around on feet, so they go on hoverboards and shit. But like, I just like imagining the idea that, you know, we're gonna look back on this day and be like, yeah, this is old, this is retro, this is what we did back in the day, and it was such a simpler time. That just makes me want to be like, man, I just want to, you know, that makes me want to create more. That makes me want to be on YouTube more and be in this presence more, because it'll be so cool to look at down the line.
Definitely agree.
You really went in deep on that topic.
Oh, yes.
But I do want to ask you, as an avid anime fan, what's your favorite anime?
One Piece. Not a second thought. Okay. Let me rephrase. Let me change that. My favorite anime of all time would have to be One Piece at the top. However, the two anime that stand out for me as probably two of the greatest animes of all time would have to be Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood and Hunter x Hunter. Amazing anime series that I would recommend anybody to watch and complete, because for me those two are just at the top of the list. They're just fantastic. They're unparalleled. Some of the things that happen in those animes, and the way the story and the character development happens, and how deep it goes into certain themes, is just unparalleled.
Yeah, people have been recommending me those too, especially like I've had a bunch of people recommend Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood and Hunter x Hunter, and I've even listened to some of the Hunter x Hunter soundtrack, even though I still haven't watched the show yet, but it's just like that good.
Oh yeah, it is that good, and One Piece being one of the, you know, the best long running animes, and just the way One Piece does, you know, people look at One Piece and be like, oh my god, it's a 900 episode anime, but if you guys are any Yu-Gi-Oh fans out there, Yu-Gi-Oh has surpassed One Piece in the number of episodes that it has over the seasons. So just keep that in mind. So if you watch Yu-Gi-Oh as an ongoing thing, you know, every new season, every new set of cards that comes out, you know, what Yu-Gi-Oh has surpassed One Piece in terms of the number of episodes it has. But One Piece is still, you know, one of the best animes I've ever watched, just because of the continuity, the foreshadowing, and the way they link characters and storylines together out of nowhere. Something you would have seen maybe early on in the episode, maybe, you know, in the first 100 episodes of the anime, which was a very long time ago now, and that could link to something you're watching in the next episode. And it's crazy because we're in like 900 and something, and it's, you know, those two things then link in and everything just starts making sense so much more. And that's just one of the greatest things about anime. It's not just the characters and the fights or anything like that. It's the way the story develops and everything just ends up linking in somehow. You know, something that will be very briefly mentioned in an episode then becomes a massive topic in a later arc. And it's just like, wow, like Oda being the mangaka for it and the writer for it is just genius. It's just genius, which is why I enjoy One Piece. It's not just because it's one of the best mainstream animes out there. It's genuinely has so much depth to the storyline than you can imagine. So if you sit down and you watch it through, you start realizing how there is. And I've been watching One Piece for years. So, you know, when I see something new and it links into something from like 500 episodes ago, I'm just like, wow, I have not heard that name since like 7 years ago. But then here it is again. It's a hot topic. So that's why One Piece for me is probably the best. It's my favorite anime. But then Hunter x Hunter and Full Metal Alchemist come a very close second.
That is very interesting. And I mean, Sounds like you had. I can tell you're a big fan of anime with your description of that. Like you went into detail about it, but I didn't get into, I guess, anime and that kind of stuff until sophomore year of high school. I think the first anime, if you consider it anime, it's a big debate. Is Ruby, if you know what that is.
No, I actually don't.
Really?
Oh,
It's
No.
a series by Rooster Teeth. It's animated in 3D, and it's made in the West, which is why people say it's not anime, but also like Warner Bros. Japan adopted it as an anime, which is why it's like people are just like, is it anime, is it not? But that was a big one for me. And then I think the other one, the one that's still my favorite to this day, is JoJo's.
Oh, JoJo's is brilliant.
The Hirohiko
You can never
Araki's
get
like
past that.
writing of characters is what my go-to now for like if I ever make characters in anything, because it's just like the way he fleshes them out is just like this dude like knows
Oh,
what he's
yeah.
doing.
Definitely, JoJo's is just absolute. It's just genius, and the memes and the references that come out of it is just fantastic. It's that's definitely in one of my. It's in my top list. Definitely,
Yeah, it was a very
I think-
enjoyable experience.
definitely. I started watching anime when I was very very young, 7 years old. To put that into context, I'm 29, so I started watching anime about 22 years ago. 22, 23 years ago, something like that. So, yeah, for me, anime is a big part of my life. Like, I've grown up watching anime, and I still to the day have several anime series that I'll look forward to every single week. You know, there's always something new coming out, but me and my mates will get down. I have a Discord chat about anime every other week, just to kind of run down everything that's happened in anime in the past few weeks, and you know what we think of it. And yeah, it's just it's definitely a big part of my life.
Yeah, I didn't have any real anime series as a kid that I watched. I mean, like once in a while I'd watch whatever. Actually, no, that's a lie. I definitely remember watching Dragon Ball Z, I think it was. That was on like they'd put episodes on Nicktoons. And I remember every time that was on, like just when I would just leave Nickelodeon or Nicktoons on my TV in my room, and anytime that was on, I would just like drop what I was doing and like sit and watch that. Even though I have like no like episodes were like spaced out at like random times because it's Nicktoons, and they wouldn't have them like in actual order, so it's just random bits and pieces from different episodes. But other than that, when I was younger, I definitely remember watching some of the Studio Ghibli movies. Like Spirited Away is like one of my favorite movies. And then I think I remember watching some of Kiki's Delivery Service. But those, I guess, with those movies and then the little bit of Dragon Ball I had as a kid, it sparked my interest, I guess, but I didn't really get into it until high school. But that was after I got past that phase where like everyone's just like, ew, anime's weird, haha, make fun of the anime guy. And then now it's like, I don't know what changed, but like it's like, liking anime is cool, which is awesome. I'm glad to see it because anime it's really cool. They like, I don't know, people get misconception stuff about it because of like there definitely some weird animes out there. But like there's a lot of cool stuff, and they put a lot of effort into it, and like the character development and stuff, and I don't know, it's just like fun little stories. It's better than watching The Office for like the 8th time in a row on Netflix. But
Bro, we had at our high school, we had we had two types of teachers. We had one teacher who was explaining like supply and demand for an AP Econ class or economics, and would bring up like an episode of The Office US, of course, and would like say this is how this works and all this kind of stuff. And then you'd sit there. It was pretty much just an excuse to watch an episode of The Office. But there is another type of teacher who is in the English department who's super woke. He was one of those teachers that kind of just got right out of college. And I think he also really liked anime and things like that. So he was like, this I think the hero's arc was what we were studying at the point, and
the hero's journey.
The journey, exactly, for how it goes. And he's like, we're gonna watch Howl's Moving Castle as like the way to describe this hero's journey. And forgot who that was made by. I'm really not a huge anime, like I don't know too much about anime, but that was like one movie that I saw that, you know, was in the style of it, and I was like, wow, this is like super cool. And the fact that somebody brought it up in high school is even more cool.
Yeah, that's a Hayao Miyazaki movie. So that's Studio Ghibli as well. Fantastic. Again, another amazing movie. Fun fact: Howl in the English version is voiced by Christian Bale, which I always find amazing because I love Christian Bale as an actor. So the fact
really? I
that
didn't
his
know that
voice
at
is in
all.
an
Oh my
anime
gosh.
is pretty damn cool.
Another fun fact: I know how to play some of the theme from Howl's Moving Castle on piano. So if we have time at the end of the podcast, in post, I'll record myself playing it, and then Alex can throw it in.
And then I'll be like, oh man, his piano playing's garbage, and then I'm gonna check
Fuck
it out.
you. Fuck you.
But
Oh, brilliant.
is there like any, so I feel like I'm the standard like anime noob. I just don't know too much anime. I think the most like anime type show, which is not really anime, is
Family Guy.
no.
No.
I mean, hey, I was gonna say, who says that's Cory in the House is the best anime. No, actually, one of the things that's kind of in the style of it is made by Nickelodeon is Avatar.
I was about to say it's probably Avatar.
Oh yeah,
amazing show.
I just love the show. I think just because I have that nostalgia factor. I mean, I used to watch that as a kid a lot, and I just recently watched it when they put it on Netflix and all this kind of stuff, and I was a huge fan of that. And I think some people were telling me to watch, I think, One Punch Man or something like that to try to get into anime, and
That's
tried
a pretty
watching,
easy series to get into.
you know, I was trying to watch it a couple of things, but do you have any like recommendations? I mean, obviously, you've clearly stated a lot of shows that are brilliant in your mind, but is there any shows that you find would be great shows to introduce people to anime?
I think if you're just newly getting into anime, you want to watch something that's nice and short. One Punch Man is fantastic, but it's got a whole lot of weird shit.
Yeah, I've seen that.
It's pretty weird. It can get pretty weird at times, and you know, if you're just getting into anime, then something like that, you know, as much as the new anime generation would say and suggest that One Punch Man is fantastic, I would never recommend One Punch Man as being one of the first things to watch. I would say Death Note.
Death Note, I've heard that.
As an introductory anime series because it's anime. It has a little bit of weird shit, but not weird in the sense of like, you know, like dirty weird or whatever. I don't know how you'd how I'd explain that, but with Death Note, it's the story and the characters that really stand out. Death Note is again another one of my all-time favorites, but it's definitely one of the animes I would suggest you getting into because it's practically a psychological thriller.
Ooh, okay.
So you don't have people throwing fireballs at each other. You don't have you know ball guys flying through the air. You don't have guys standing there and grunting for an episode at a time. Dragon Ball Z. But what you do have is you have genuine character development. You have this battle between geniuses and just this concept that, you know, will just throw you off into like a spiral of thought because of how just the way everything's put together is just brilliant. And I would definitely say anybody who wants to seriously get into anime should definitely watch Death Note as one of the first animes. If not, Full Metal Alchemist would definitely be my second recommendation for an early anime. And if those don't do it for you, and you want just something nice and easy to watch, then gosh, just start off with something like Digimon. Digimon, Pokemon, very easy, and they count as anime. And if that's too kiddish for you, and you want something in the middle, I'm just trying to think. Man, if I had a list in front of me, that would be so much easier.
Then at this point, I think anime is just not for you. You just give up.
You're not a real fan.
No,
you can't think of a medium ground.
No. Yeah, there is definitely anime that
seems like anime is just a
watch.
Charcuterie board.
There's just so many because I've seen so many. It's hard to kind of just pick them out from my head. Let me see if I've got a list on my phone.
While he's looking, can I reveal a little secret?
All right.
So Ruby being my first anime is actually alive. My first anime I discovered when I was like 9, because someone uploaded it onto YouTube. And it's a little series called High School of the Dead. Do you know what that is?
I know High School.
Yeah. So,
of course I know.
I was
High
just
School
like,
of the
wow, look, this looks like a fun anime. By the way, they uploaded onto YouTube. This is back when YouTube was like different, uncensored.
Yeah.
So I watched like the entire season as a little kid, and I was like, wow, this is so cool. And
Was there like dicks out or something like that? Like
titties.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a good. Honestly, I rewatched it recently, like with some friends and stuff, and we were making fun of like that kind of stuff in it. The show's actually like it was kind of enjoyable. Like aside from like the comically large boobs, the honkers, the show's actually kind of like fun. Too bad it will probably never get a second season though, but
Petition for a second season.
I mean,
the guy's dead.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, thinking about it now, definitely Death Note and Full Metal Alchemist. If you want something on the more serious end, Full Metal Alchemist is filled with comedy as well at the same time. So I think it's one of the perfect kind of easy things to watch, and the fact that it's brilliant does help. On the more kiddier side, yeah, definitely Digimon or Pokemon is good to start with. But if you want to start on middle ground with something that's pretty famous, then start with Naruto. I mean, everybody knows what Naruto is. Everybody knows, about it somewhat, or has heard of it somewhere. And despite it being a pretty long anime, I'd say it's pretty fun. And it's pretty easy to watch. You can just kind of get into it straight away and just start watching it. And then if you want to branch out, it's long enough that you can take breaks and then just start watching other stuff. But Death Note is my number one kind of recommendation.
Alex, I haven't seen Death Note, so me and you can watch it together sometime.
Exactly. That's perfect. I was just going to say, if this tech YouTube thing doesn't work out, I think you should start up like an anime YouTube, because I feel like you're really good at like explaining these. And I was like thinking to myself, oh man, I wonder if you have one or two shows, but you had like shows for every taste and every kind. You had this charcuterie board of different types of shows and flavors. So man, I honestly could see you gaining a crowd for
You
some
expect me
anime
to just be
lovers.
like, "What's up, guys? Today we're reacting to the new episode of One Piece," and then just like they do that thing.
Do you know what? The funny thing is, my friend actually suggested that I do that.
Yo.
But there's just so many anime channels out there already
Yeah.
that I feel like I'm not in a position to compete right now, because the community has a lot of gatekeepers right now. And if you come in as somebody, as a veteran, and you try and kind of infiltrate this community of gatekeeping, anime-loving reviewers, you're bound to get shut down quite fast. And I'd have to be pretty fast at getting these videos out as well. So yeah, I did think about it, and I might make a series of my favorite anime and why you should watch these kind of videos, but probably not make an entire channel out of it. That'd be too challenging for me.
Have you ever watched like anyone on YouTube react to like anime that's like distributed by like large companies and stuff? It's always funny because they do that thing. They'll put them reacting to it. They'll have the actual show in like the corner, and then what they'll do is they'll show like 5 seconds and then cut it for 10, so that'll just be the reaction to them. And it's like every channel's like that, so it's like everyone's doing the same thing, but it's funny. But yeah, you should, if you make an anime channel, you should use my my dialogue. Just take the raw sound clip. What's up, guys?
Have that animation that everybody has where it has like the subscribe button comes up and then the little bell.
Make sure you click that bell so you're notified when I upload.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean,
funny thing is my videos do have that, so
wait, they do?
cringe.
Wow, you're so basic, dude.
Does it do the little icon on the bottom where it shows the little I don't know.
Yeah, like
animation
subscribe
of,
and hit that notification bell, and it does the whole thing. I only put that up in my recent videos actually, and I have considered changing that or removing it altogether. Being a content creator is continuously changing your content and trying to improve it, trying to kind of match it to your audiences and thinking of ways where you can kind of streamline everything. And I've actually made quite a few changes to some of the videos that I'm going to be bringing out, and the way I'm doing things with just the kind of layout and the lower thirds and stuff like that. But I'm guilty of being one of those people who has the whole like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and very overly enthusiastically being, hey guys, don't forget to make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to make sure you don't miss out on any of my new content.
What do you call your fans?
I don't really have fans. So I've got
We're your fans, dude. What are
We're your fans. What are you calling us?
my buddies.
What's
I'll call
up,
you guys my
buddies?
buddies.
But isn't there something like...
I haven't come up with a cool catchphrase yet. My catchphrase is Kaiu24 signing out. That's my end of the video catchphrase.
Hey, as long as I feel like consistency and like other small things like what is the animation and then the sound of the bell dinging, things like that. Like, people talk about the psychological effects that people have. It's something that everybody's like, oh, here's the subscribe button, here's the bell, they're bringing it up. But it's something that even if it's a negative connotation in your brain, you're still thinking about the specific act of subscribing and dinging the bell in your brain, and that's why people are annoying about it. That's why people do it.
People also have like doo-doo goop ADHD brain like I do, and like have you ever watched like a 2Mad video?
No.
Like he'll put like an edit in every like 2 seconds. Like you blink and you miss like a week's worth of like editing, just because it's like it's so fast paced. There's so many things going on. It's like, because that's what kids are after now. They need like constant action or stimulation, bright things, put it on the screen, show the animation of the red subscribe button popping up. Like, oh,
I don't know if it gets the subscriber, dude. If it gets
the clicks,
it's all about the clicks, bro.
Yep, that's the main thing.
But man, yeah, that's why. I mean, YouTube really be wild out here.
I do.
It really be going.
Can't wait to get demonetized.
Why are we getting demonetized? Because you said titties?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I said it too, so that means I'm going to be demonetized as well.
I'm going to say something controversial on camera and then record a YouTuber apology where I sigh in the beginning and cry into my hands.
What if you did that and then before you started, or like in the midst of you crying, you did the make sure you subscribe and like hit the bell for the...
So I'm going to be taking a break from YouTube for a while, but if you guys want to subscribe and hit the notification so when I come back, you'll know when I upload, that would be fantastic.
Or you're bawling your eyes out and you just all of a sudden stop and be like, hey guys, before I carry on, just make sure you guys hit that like, subscribe, and notification bell. It really helps me out and it helps out the channel too. And make sure you guys hit the link down below to my affiliate link. Yeah, and then just carry on crying and then be like, oh, I'm so sorry about what I said.
It would be funnier if you had like a sponsorship ad break. Like halfway through you're breaking down, it's like, this episode's sponsored by Manscaped. And then just cuts back to you just like bawling your eyes out.
This is a shout out to Manscaped. If you want to sponsor us, we will cry for you and then also talk about your products. Thank you, Manscaped.
Yeah, dramatically sponsor you. We'll very dramatic. Very effective.
What would if we had a code? Like if this podcast got sponsored by, I don't know, like Uber Eats or something, like what would our code be?
Uber Eats.
I
feel like they would just go with the classic RTVG,
RTVG Eats.
Wait, we should tell Dorian because on the last episode we were talking about specific things that we could like pitch, like for, I think we did like medical equipment and things like that. We should have our own food service. That like, and it's us going around in a van that has like the Team Reinvented Gaming like on a van, and then we just deliver food to people. Nobody's ever thought of that before, and we could just call ourselves RTVG Eats. I
mean, it's RVTG, right?
RVTG?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
RVTG. Yep, there you go.
Oh,
sorry.
Well, fuck.
There's a duty for the day.
Dorian, if you're listening to this, please.
Do you actually work for Team Reinvented?
I'm sorry. Please, if this is my exit interview, it's been nice knowing you guys.
Yeah, why should we hire you?
No, that's my fault. I said it first. He just carried on.
Yeah, why should we fire you?
That's not how exit interviews go.
Give me 3 reasons why you should stay with the company.
I mean, that's mostly how.
Are you swag?
Yeah. Swag like Kai. I was just, okay, before we like go on to the end stuff, Kai, I have I actually have you seen the show Caillou?
Oh, do you know what? I try and stay away. I try and stay away.
Why? It's such a great show.
Because I was talking to somebody the other day. No. I was in a stream, right? I was in a stream, as in like I wasn't doing the stream. I was in the chat for a streamer, Alpha Gaming Harris Hella, if you guys have ever heard of him. I must have subbed or something, and my name came up, and he was like, "Oh, Caillou, thanks for the sub or whatever." And then he was like, "Kai, is that like that show, that kids show? Is that what that is? Is that what your name is based on?" And I just facepalm myself so hard because it's not what it's based on. But that's pretty much what I get every time, and I just refuse to go and find out what the show is because I just can't bring myself to it because it's just the biggest coincidence that my name ended up being like that.
Well, it's a great anime, honestly. I think it would range somewhere in the Death Note and.
I'd say I'd put it at the A tier.
A tier.
Am I able to? Am I allowed to pitch it like a quick synopsis of Caillou real quick?
Go for it.
It's short bald kid with yellow shirt.
I know.
And he cries a lot.
Yeah.
I know.
But imagine the character arc you'd have.
Well.
Like, he must have some crazy, like, okay, yeah, sure, these other shows that you talked about before, yeah, they might be good, like, they might be genius, but honestly, I think Caillou is probably...
I mean, if you're a big fan of, it's like small male child protagonists crying, you might also like Evangelion.
What's that? What's that show?
It's a show where a small male child protagonist cries a lot.
Okay.
Pretty much throughout the entire series.
Beautiful.
And on that note, I'd like to bring us to the the end section. What we like to do at the end of each podcast is we will go around in a circle relative to 3 people in a non-existent space. And we'll each... Okay. What do you mean? We don't see... He could be behind us for all we know.
Yeah, so then how are we going to go, clockwise or counterclockwise in this theoretical circle?
Theoretically, in the third dimension, counterclockwise. But we were arranged alphabetically. So you go first, and then me, then Caillou. But what we like to do, I'll explain it for you, Caillou, if you don't know. We share one piece of media, either like a game, like a movie, some music, like a musician or something. Just anything that we've been really vibing with the past week or two. Just so we can get it out there. Maybe if anyone listening, if they actually are interested and they can go check it out. It's just like a little shout out for people that are popular and probably don't need shout outs, but it's something we're chilling with anyways. So Alex, if you want to share something cool you've been...
Here's something I'm curious because I don't know, Caillou, if people around you or like in your country like know about this person, like a big deal, but it's kind of like there's a lot of like jazz musicians and a lot of musicians in general that are kind of vibing with this man who's happens to be in the great town of London, and I listen to him like all the time now. His name's Jacob Collier, and he like just makes a ton of crazy musical and orchestral like sonic spheres with only his voice, and he also like happens to play every instrument. And like right now he's like pushing out a ton of Christmas tracks for the holiday season. Yeah,
I haven't been paying attention to his Spotify page.
He made some huge grandeur. I forgot what some Christmas tune or whatever, but he made it so that he's like 1,000 of himself and just like made this crazy sphere of the London town and how he's like in the little windows like singing stuff. But man, he's crazy. He's just making a ton of crazy stuff. So anyone out there that is like into like experimental music that sounds really cool but also really weird, I would suggest checking out Jacob Collier.
Jacob Collier. So I know who he is too. Alex.
Cool.
Alex introduced me to Jacob Collier. He's a bit of a cool. We saw him live.
I think I've definitely heard the name.
You heard of him?
But I've not seen any of his work.
I mean, he's a very talented musician, but like his music is It's relatively far derived from pop, I guess. He does like a lot of like technical stuff, like music theory wise and stuff, and it's really impressive. It's cool if you don't know all the theory stuff, and it's even cooler if you know do know all the theory stuff. But he's a cool dude. I'd definitely recommend checking him out as well. For me, I'd say I'll give a band and a game I've been playing actually, because these are both what I've been messing around with. Foo Fighters.
Hey.
Your boy likes some. Don't go A. Okay, hang on. Let me put Alex on blast real quick. On the car right here, I was like, Alex, you know who Foo Fighters are? And he's like, no.
I said it's the dude from Nirvana.
You did say it's the dude from Nirvana.
And that was great because I'm not like a rock kind of person. So the fact that I could say the name Nirvana
that is a little,
in proper
I can
context
give you that, but
is
still
astounding.
Fair enough.
I don't know if that's A level though.
I mean, it's passing.
Like I put a Foo Fighters song on, and I was like, you know who this is? And you're like, no. But I know, fake fan. I'm gatekeeping. You can't be a Foo Fighters fan.
Shucks.
But other than that, the game I've been playing, Uno.
Yo, for real?
Yeah.
Like,
I have it on like PlayStation.
oh, so like online and shit.
Yeah,
I thought you were just getting with the homies and
it's-
you're just like whipping it out. You're like, guess
I
what?
wish.
I got
Honestly, Uno online is kind of fun because it forces you to keep track of your time. Like it gives you 10 seconds to play a card, otherwise it forces you to draw one, which is way better than in person. Like two people play and then you just sit there and have a conversation for like 15 minutes and then the next person plays.
No.
But yeah, Uno, it gets real heated. I've had friends straight up just leave the lobby and turn their PlayStation off because they got so mad.
Right.
But yeah, what about you?
All
Kyle?
right, from me, all right. So I'll put out another fellow content creator, and I've mentioned him in the stream before. Sorry, in the podcast before. Harris Heller, Alpha Gaming. I take massive inspiration from this guy. So a lot of my content might look very similar to stuff that he's done. My streams might look very similar to his streams, but cool guy, does a lot of streamer help, tech related stuff. Also has a service called Streambeats, which is this is free advertising for him. I am nowhere affiliated or sponsored by him, by the way, but he has a service called Streambeats, which is basically copyright free music that can be used by anyone and everyone for their content, and there is no risk of DMCA strikes. I don't know if you guys know about all the
I do.
kind of DMCA stuff happening with Twitch and big streaming services, giving big streamers and small streamers and all streamers DMCA strikes for any kind of music and soundtracks that they might be playing in their streams. Whereas this guy basically just lets you use it for free. And it's on all the services. It's on Spotify, it's on Apple Music, it's on Amazon. It's on his Discord, free to kind of download. But he makes it free for everybody to use, and the music is great. Like, it's genuinely cool, good music, and he's got like new albums coming out all the time. He had a Christmas album coming out, he's got a rock album coming out soon. But Harris Heller, guys, like, fantastic dude. Check out his stream, check out his YouTube channel, which is Alpha Gaming. Lots of good advice for streamers, lots of good advice for YouTubers, lots of great content if you're into kind of cameras, streaming, similar kind of channel to what I'm kind of stuff that I'm doing. So yeah, I definitely take massive inspiration from him. And in terms of gaming, the game that I've been playing quite a lot with my friends, which brings back a lot of memories for me especially, is the Halo Master Chief Collection. And though Halo has been in the news far more for negative reasons, with Infinite being delayed and whatnot, Halo is probably one of my all-time favorite shooters, FPS games. Definitely kind of what brought me into the world of FPS gaming. I started playing Halo 3 with a friend of mine who basically presented me with the Halo 3 disc before I even owned an Xbox. And he was basically, here's the game. You now need to buy yourself an Xbox to play it on. And essentially forced me into buying an Xbox so I could play Halo with him. But thanks to him, I can now enjoy playing all sorts of games on my Xboxes. And this is some 10, 12 years ago I'm talking about. So
Wow.
Yeah, definitely. Halo Master Chief Collection remastered on PC and cross-platform for everybody to enjoy with one another.
Well, yeah, with all of that being said, go check out all these things we talked about, all these these cool people. Go check out, what do you say it's called? Stream Beats?
Stream Beats, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely check out Stream
Sounds
Beats.
so dope.
Yeah, that sounds like something that's super important right now with all the DMCA stuff going on.
Yeah.
I mean, it's always better to be safe than sorry. So yeah, go check out Stream Beats. Go check out some of the people if you want. Play Uno. Play the Master Chief Collection. I mean, I played a little bit of Reach back, and when I first got my 360, I can definitely recommend the Halo games. At least some of the older ones. I haven't really played like 4 and beyond, but
4 is alright. I wouldn't play 5.
yeah, I've heard 5.
Hot take. Oh, we gotta cut off the stream before some people have strong dissenting opinions in the chat.
There is no Halo 5 fans in chat. there are no Halo 5 fans in chat, and there are no Halo 5 fans in general. And I will die on that hill.
Well, on that note,
On that note,
Yeah, on that note, thank you for coming out to episode 4. We'll see you in episode 5. Be probably back in our old filming location. And it'll also be next year. It'll be 2021, hopefully. No, I was going to say hopefully the year is not as bad as this one.
yeah.
I mean, hopefully, I would imagine it'll be 2021 next year. If I,
we just skip a whole year and go straight into 2022.
Yeah.
It's okay,
Fuck
guys.
it, it's like-
just let COVID run its course.
it's like Apple with their iPhones. We're just skipping 2021 right to 2022, baby. But yeah, we'll see what the future holds. It was fun having Kaiu out, and we'll see you next time.
Fun being here, guys. See you later.
Hey everyone, future Arolith here from the future to tell you that I'm actually at my parents' house, so I can't record myself playing the theme from Howl's Moving Castle on piano. But as a token of appeasement, Alex put something funny on the screen right here, and I'll play it next episode. Happy holidays, happy new year, and make sure you don't drive over the speed limit in school zones. Okay, see ya.